Hey all, buddy, FTRV, how you doing? Well, in this video, we're going to go from this to this. So welcome back. We got old Vannie VanGo opened up. Let's take a look at the package and see what we got inside. So this is what we're installing today from Mictuning. This is our third product. We've installed two others. You can check out those videos. We'll put links in the description below. But this is the rock lights that are going to go inside the wheel wells. It's an 8-pack, so it's 2 per wheel well. Let's take a look inside and see what we got. It's the best I can do laying it out, but of course you got your instruction manual, bunch of stickers, your 8 lights that are encased in metal. I mean, these aren't plastic. Your installation bolts. Guess this is the control module that hooks up to your phone and then controls all the lights. The switch for inside and some like rubber weatherproof bushings. Here's the wiring diagram. It's pretty simple. Shows you kind of how to run the wires. So like I did with those light pods, I'm gonna lay it all out, get as close as I can to installation and make sure everything fits and things like that. When I went to lay this out, everything was hooked up. I went ahead and numbered them 1 through 8. I 100% believe you don't need to do that, but I went ahead and did that. But nothing on here shows numbers. But I am going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think it matters at all. But anyways, I've laid stuff out. This may end up going underneath the van. Here's my switch. It's not actually that long of a cord for the switch, but we're going to get that in through the doghouse in the inside. But let me show you the first one I've installed here. All right, you can kind of see what I did. I got some things to mark my holes. This probably would be a 2-person job if you're using the little bolts they give you. But here's my second person, a piece of wood. But there's the first one. Next one's going to go over here. 1 down, 7 to go. And then, of course, the power. I was able to use some spray paint and a nail set to mark the holes. I drilled them out. And then I came in. Luckily, I left access to my wheel wells. And there's my 2 bolts right up in there. The next one's going to be bolted right in this area. All of my wheel wells are metal, so you could probably get away with using some self-tapping screws. I don't have any. They didn't send any. So I used the bolts that they sent, which are stainless steel, so they're not going to rust. And again, like I said, the cases to the lights are all metal, so that's nice. Of course, this is my first time doing this. So stay to the end of the video and I'll give you some tips that I think will help you make this go much quicker. Well, I got the lights themselves installed, all 8 of them. I still got to get this control box installed and run my switch inside. And then of course, hook it all up, run the wires, get those all mounted and zip tied in. What I ended up doing though, where I could use the bolts, the little bolts they provided, I did. So on the back, I used the bolts, but I basically used sheet metal screws, self-tapping screws, I guess you would call them, on the front ones. Let me show you. They're stainless steel, but you can see the self-tapping screws. That one you can't, but so there's the front and there's the back. And like I said, I got to run all that wiring and then get it all zip tied up. All right, before we get to this next step, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. And if you like camping videos, installation videos, travel videos, think about subscribing, comment. We love reading the comments, and share. I'm done. Done installing the Mictuning C4 RGBW LED rock lights. We got the 8-pack. They come in a 4-pack, I think a 12 and even a 16-pack, but we got the 8-pack. Let's take a look here. Okay, let's turn them on. So remember, these are hooked directly to your battery. The good news is you don't need your keys in the ignition to make them light up. But the bad news is you don't need your key in the ignition to make them light up. So you can run your battery down. Okay, let's take a look at them real quick. Let's look at the back first. And then we'll look at them again in the dark. So, You can see how they look, and then we'll go through the app and show some of the features. It does have a lot of cool features, even one where you can play music and they'll dance to the sounds of the music. Yeah, there she is. It's getting dark now. I wanted to show it to you, but I don't want it to get too dark. So let's go over this app and show you everything that these lights can do. All right, so I'm going to try to show you the van and the app at the same time here. All right, let's take a look at this app. So you can change the color just by pointing anywhere on this wheel. You can change the brightness. You can change the strobe effect, more or less. And then you also got a couple different preset. This is like a long, what they're saying long click, but a fade, different, quicker fade. And then you can see what that does. You can also change how quick the lights change by toggling here. You can also customize it with these 5 extra spots there. You can add what you want, and then you just have to tap on it. And here they are playing with the music. Little Michael Jackson for your enjoyment. So there they are, the Mictuning rock lights. I think they look pretty good actually with the LED strips on the inside. All right, now I'm going to go over a few things that I think are going to help you install these a little bit quicker. It took me about 5 hours and a lot of soreness. Anyways, first off, disconnect the battery. You don't even have to connect it to the battery at the beginning, but I do just to check it out once I have it all hooked up and laid out. But you want to make sure the battery is disconnected. Get yourself the self-tapping screws. The bolts may work in some areas, but I did end up using some self-tapping screws, so that helped a lot. Get yourself zip ties. You're going to need a lot of zip ties to run all those wires. Look and make sure when you lay out your lights that where those wires are going to go, they're allowed to go. You don't want them close to a hot source like your exhaust or something. Also, the module that does all the controlling with the Bluetooth, the app, that cannot be close to the engine. It's got to stay somewhat cool. It can't get heat from the engine. I ended up putting mine, gosh, kind of underneath the transmission. It's tucked away some, but I had to do that because the wires are not long enough because my van is so long. They'd work fine in a car, probably on something like an F-150. But if you have a Super Duty or something like that, you're going to have to get that module kind of in the middle of the truck rather than in the engine bay. Last thing, remember they are connected to your battery. That's a good thing because you can turn them on anytime you want. You don't have to have keys in the ignition, but at the same time, they'll stay on. And if it happens to be daytime, you're going to run your battery out. So that's my last suggestion. Hopefully that'll help you some. All right, well, if you like videos like this, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, comment, and we will see you soon. Bye now.